Hi guys, this is organic nomenclature and we will be naming amides. So amides have a general formula of R CONH2. So we have a compound here that is a derivative of a carboxylic acid in which the COOH group's OH group has been replaced by an NH2 group. So just like carboxylic acids, amides will be numbered starting from the functional group carbon atom. So numbering in amides is fixed as well. In terms of the number of carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, and nitrogen atoms present, the general formula of amide becomes CnH2n plus 1 CONH2, CONH2 being the amide group. So in order to name these amides, we will have a hydrogen attached to the C double bond O group as the first amide. HC, the structure is like this: C double bond O, single bond, NH2. So this is the very first amide, and since it has got only one carbon atom present, the name of this amide is methane, METHAN. We do not include the last letter E, and then we continue with AMIDE. So it is called methane amide. The second amide would now have a CH3 group where the hydrogen was attached. So this would be CH3, CONH2, and the name of this amide starting from the CONH2 carbon having two carbon atoms would be ethane amide. The next amide would be having three carbon atoms in total. So it would be CH3, CH2, CONH2. So numbering this amide from the functional group carbon 1, 2, and 3, this will be called propane amide. And in this way, the carbon length chain would keep on increasing and the homologous series would progress to butanamide, pentanamide, hexanamide, so on and so forth. So now introducing substitute groups to amide. So CH3, CH, CONH2. If we include a methyl group here, the name of this amide would be having three carbon atoms, 2 methyl propane amide. Similarly, if we introduce two methyl groups to this carbon atom, CH3 and CH3 and CONH2. So now the second carbon atom has two methyl groups attached to it. So this carbon atom having two CH3 groups attached to it would be named first by writing 2 comma 2 dimethyl. These are the substitute groups present, and then the name of the parent compound that would be propanamide. Now let's have a longer chain of amide so that we can introduce more substitute groups. So CH3, CH, CH, CONH2. Here we will introduce two substitute groups, a chloro and a nitro group. So numbering being fixed starts from here: 1, 2, 3, 4, and the name of this compound by writing the substitute group that comes alphabetically first would be 3 chloro 2 nitro butane amide. So in this way, any functional groups that are attached to this compound would be given alphabetical preference while writing the name of the compound. So CH3, C, CH, CONH2. Here I'm introducing two methyl groups on one carbon atom and a chloro group on another carbon atom. So the numbering would be 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now here we've got two methyl groups having the name starting with an M and one chloro group starting with a C. So C is given the alphabetical preference. So the name of this amide becomes 2-chloro and 3-dimethyl. What you need to remember here is that the name of the functional group is methyl. Di just represents that there are two of them. We do not consider di as a alphabetical preference. Di is just showing that there are two methyl groups. So the name of the substitute group should be considered when giving alphabetical preference. So C comes before M. So 2-chloro, 3 comma 3 dimethyl. So there are two methyl groups, so we need to include 2, 3 here. So 3 comma 3 dimethyl and butane amide. And in this way, the name of amides can be understood. If the OH group of alcohol is attached to an amide, for example, we have CH2OH and then it is attached to CONH2. So the preference of naming as a functional group will be given to the amide. So this will be 1 and this will be 2. And the OH group here would be considered a substitute group and would be called a hydroxy group. So the name of this compound would become 2-hydroxy ethane amide. So even the OH group is considered a substitute group when it is present on an amide. Now we are going to continue naming amides in which there is a substitute group present on the nitrogen atom. These amides are known as N-alkyl amides. So here we have a substitute group present on the nitrogen atom in the amide group. So CH3, CO, N, we've got a hydrogen atom and a CH3 group. So just like amines, if the substitution is on the nitrogen atom, we will call it N substituted amide. So the name of the parent compound would be 1 and 2. Having two carbon atoms would be ethanamide, and the substitution of a methyl group is present on the nitrogen atom. So the name of this amide would become N methyl ethane amide. And if we have two CH3 groups on the same amide, but both on the nitrogen atom, so we will call this now, since there are two carbon atoms present in the parent compound, so it remains ethanamide. So the substitute groups will be called N comma N dimethyl. N comma N suggests both the substitutions are on the nitrogen atom, and dimethyl means both the substitutions are of methyl groups. And then the name of the parent compound, ethane amide. So we can also have an amide in which the substitute groups are different. So in place of both of them being methyl, one of them can be a methyl group, the other can be an ethyl group. So now alphabetical preference will be giving in the naming of the compound. E comes before M, so the name would be N ethyl, N methyl, and the name of the parent compound having two carbon atoms would be ethane amide. This way, amides with substitute groups can be named. So another example would be CH3, CH2, then we've got C double bond O, we've got N, and now we have two ethyl groups. So since the groups are similar, we will use the term di for them, diethyl. So this would be called The name of the parent compound having three carbon atoms would be propanamide. So this would be called N, comma N diethyl propane amide. Another example, CH3, CH2, C double bond O, single bond N. We have a CH2, CH3 group attached on the nitrogen atom, and we have a CH2, CH2, and a CH3 group attached on the nitrogen atom. So one of the groups is an ethyl group, the other is a propyl group. So, and the parent compound will have three carbon atoms, so that will be propanamide, and E will be given preference over the P for propyl. So the name would be N ethyl dash and dash propyl, and the name of the parent compound would be propane amide. And this is how we name N alkyl amides.